my cup of coffee. Geographic Scholar, I'm back again with a second video. It will be about coffee, but this one's going to be about the coffee culture in New Orleans. Now, New Orleans has a very old, very unique coffee culture. And geography is a big reason for that. You look at the city of New Orleans. It's basically situated at the far south part of the Mississippi River, right on Lake Pontchartrain. I mean, you send the boat and the ships out from the Mississippi River, and you're not that far away from the Gulf of Mexico. And you got to consider it makes perfect sense that a very distinct coffee culture developed in Louisiana, because in many ways, New Orleans being a big port, being a very important port, well, consider this. Cuba. Up until 1959, Cuba was the largest trading partner for New Orleans. And New Orleans did a lot of trade with the Caribbean and Latin America. So it only made perfect sense that you would get a lot of coffee coming up from South America, up from Cuba, up from other parts of the Caribbean and Latin America. New Orleans is going to be the first stop because, you know, it's strategically right there. You know, you've got access to Latin America from New Orleans. And so you would have coffee coming up there and it would go through New Orleans. In fact, 1/3 of the coffee that comes into the United States, it stops at the port of New Orleans first. Makes perfect sense. Geography. In fact, it was called Gateway to the Americas. I refer to it as the original gateway to Latin America because of its role and how it was strategically located, and you had a lot of trade with Latin America. This is the same port where you would have tropical fruits come in, such as bananas. And you got to think about that. The coffee culture, all that coffee being brought in, being shipped in from Latin America, and, you know, landing in New Orleans, it would make perfect sense that a lot of coffee shops, a lot of cafes would pop up because it's a port. It's a port, and it's a port with a very good access to Latin America. So it would make perfect sense that coffee would go up there. And for that reason, you had the coffee shops popping up, coffee places. One famous one, Café du Monde. You get your coffee, get a beignet. But, you know, coffee culture in New Orleans was shaped a lot by geography. See, a lot of people don't think about that. The European explorers, they brought the habits of coffee consumption over to the Americas. You had a lot of influences of the French, coffee being a lot of coffee consumption there in France, and you have historical geography, cultural geography, and you've got a lot of diffusion going on, the spread of ideas, the spread of culture, and the spread of commerce. So you've got economic geography, physical geography, transportation geography, cultural geography, historical geography, And I've always said, geography is more than just memorizing places on a map. It's about places, it's about people, it's about things, resources, culture. It covers a wide spectrum of things. And it can explain a lot of things all the way down to a cup of coffee. This is Geographic Scholar with part 3. of my geography awareness videos.